On September 14, there's a new moon in Virgo, and that means that you could see the world in a grain of sand. What does that mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about. Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the new moon. It's on September 14. It's at 21 degrees of Virgo. Also, Mercury's about to go direct, and Jupiter is retrograde. And so we're going to talk about all of this. I'm going to do a short overview, and then we're going to go sign by sign. So last month, we had the Leo new moon, which burns like this great big bonfire of big ideas and bold moves. Now we do the Virgo new moon, which takes all of these big concepts and breaks them down into the smallest possible building blocks. There's a quote from the poet William Blake, and it says, "To see the world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, to hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour." So what this means is that your greatness is too big to be understood, that your eternal soul is eternal. And so therefore the whole scope of who you are is so great that it's beyond our human comprehension. And so this Virgo time is for taking a look at something that is very big, like your eternal soul, and looking through a lens that brings it down to the smallest possible grain of sand. So looking at your soul's journey over a 2-week period would be like looking at a grain of sand. And the purpose of looking for this now is, of course, change, because Uranus is making the trine to this new moon. As Uranus keeps interacting with these new moon energies, it's a reminder that we need to make adjustments, we need to make changes. So the energy of Virgo is about looking at the very smallest parts of something. And so that would be in a lifetime, it might be looking at the months, days, hours, and even seconds that you are here. And it is also about the individual actions that you take that make up the course of your life and the course of your soul's journey. So for the next 2 weeks, the Virgo energy is asking us to take a look at how we spend our days, hours, minutes, and seconds. So when we think about something quite small, the thing that comes to mind is the shortest meditation that I've ever heard of, which is called one conscious breath. Now, maybe it's been on your list of things to do to start up a meditation practice or to go back to a meditation practice. And so here's a way to start. And this is through the meditation, one conscious breath. And it's just as it says. It is to stop for a moment, to inhale consciously, and then to exhale consciously. And that's it. That's the entire meditation. And that means that for the day, you've completed your meditation and you can go on. And what that does is it gets you started. It is the shortest possible thing you can do to get a meditation going. The whole reason for meditation is so interesting because meditation, while you're doing it, is quite helpful, but where the real benefit is after you've finished it, hours later. Because what meditation does is it creates a space between the impulse and the action, or the impulse and the emotion. So that is that a thought comes up while you're meditating, right? And that thought might be, oh, my nose itches. I really want to scratch that. But you're meditating, and so you say, you know what, I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to do it after I finish meditating. And so you actually inserted a choice. You did not react to something. You created a space there where you could choose. And so when people meditate, what happens is that they recognize that space between the impulse or the thought and the action or emotion as being larger all throughout the rest of the day. So this could work even with this extremely short meditation. So over the next 2 weeks, while you're doing this Virgo new moon energy, and by the way, Mercury will be going direct on the 15th, and that's going to considerably help with this energy. It's important to look at the minute things that you do each day and see if those are in line with where you want to be going. And so, as I said, like meditation, if meditation was your goal, then, and you didn't have time to do long meditations, or you intend to, but it just doesn't keep happening, so then try one conscious breath. If the person that you want to be is healthy, then maybe you are putting in healthier eating during this 2-week period, or more exercise during this 2-week period. If it is to be more successful in your life, then over this 2-week period, it's looking for the smallest things that you can do that pull you outside of your comfort zone so that you can get better at being bigger, more successful, more powerful. So what I interpret William Blake as saying with seeing the world in a grain of sand is that from moment to moment, we have choices we can make that can take our lives to this different place, that basically our entire existence and our soul's journey is made up from moment to moment. And then on a personal note, I want to thank so many of you sent the sweetest, most touching notes about my sweet kitty, LaRue. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. They were just so helpful for me, and as I've been processing my grief, and I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it. This community has grown, and I'm so grateful for that. But that you reached out and you said those kind words to me, it was just so wonderful. Thank you. Now, in this video, we are doing tropical Western astrology. Listen to your rising sign or your ascending sign. That's going to give you the clearest picture of what's coming up for you. If you don't know your rising sign, I'll send you a copy of your chart. You can email me. There's a link in the description, and I'll send you the PDF. I do readings if you want to go more in depth about your chart and what's coming up for you. And those readings cover your specific questions. And there's a link in the description. I am expanding my catalog of courses. And actually right now I have a new offering, and that is a little PDF book on how to find the missing corner and cure that. That's a feng shui thing where you might be missing your wealth corner or your relationship corner. I did that backwards. So your wealth corner or your relationship corner. And so that and my tarot course is there as well, Tarot Reading the Natural Way. The links for those are in the description. Okay, let's go sign by sign. Okay, Aries, you are doing this new moon in your house of work, coworkers, health and well-being, as well as daily routine. So one of the things that you might consider is taking a look at your schedule and how you are scheduling. And if you don't keep a schedule, maybe one of the things to do to get yourself down to this granular level is to write down everything that you do for 2 weeks and see where your time is really going. Oftentimes we think that we are out of time when in actuality there's this point of drifting from thing to thing, or that maybe something outside of you is taking your attention and it's taking it away from what you really want to focus on. So if you do that exercise of writing everything down for 2 weeks, which sounds, I know, tedious, but it's perfect for Virgo, you could actually come up with a lot of new information about yourself. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, even though the sun's not making an aspect to Mars, Mars is making a lovely aspect to Venus, and they're both in relationship houses. And so there is some opportunity here. Maybe it's not so much of a new love. Maybe it's somebody that you've seen before, maybe 1 or 2 dates. Maybe you used to date them before. in general. So, and you're still finishing up some of that residual Mercury retrograde energy, going into that Jupiter retrograde energy. So, full force, I mean. So it's possible that the new love opportunity is here, but maybe they're not as brand new as generally. And then when it comes to existing love relationships, that aforementioned Venus sextile Mars is definitely what you're doing. That is really great energy for getting together with your partner and doing a little bit more fun or romance. So that's quite possible over this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to your money, you are doing some very good energy. You're pulling money from that Venus, which is moving to make a square to Jupiter. So that brings you lots of luck. The downside about that is it can be a rather indulgent, lazy aspect. And so here you are with really good energy and maybe not feeling like you want to do the things that are going to bring you money. So, and that's just a matter of shifting priorities and thinking to yourself that it is going to be fun to make money, and that will help push you forward. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto. However, the co-ruler Mars is making the sextile. So you have an opportunity. It seems to be related to how much you connect with other people. So think of that, connecting or reconnecting with somebody that you know, and that could bring you more money than usual over this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, even though Venus is not making an aspect with Uranus, it's going to. And so I think it's just outside this 2-week period. It may be more towards the full moon that you want to make your request, or wait until this lines up to the trine, which will be in a month or two. That's going to give you an easier time of getting more money from your job. Okay, Taurus, you guys are doing this new moon in your house of creativity. It's also about fun and romance. We'll talk about the romance in a second. So when it comes to creativity, when we think about doing this from a Virgo new moon standpoint, this is about doing the smallest steps towards your creativity. And so, I know a lot of people who say they would like to write a book, and writing a book is a big endeavor. And I'm speaking from experience because I just finished my 20th manuscript. And so I'll tell you that if you just write 275 words a day, you would have a 400-page book done in 1 year. So in 275 words is not that many words. That's half of the word count of my opening in this video. So consider that you could get yourself started today just doing one little thing to move yourself forward on a creative project, and you could have something spectacular in a faster time than you know. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a semi-sextile to Mercury, plus Mercury is there, Moon is there, Sun is there, the new moon is happening. So you've got new love very strongly with a Mercury retrograde kicker, and which means that there may still be somebody from the past trying to rush to catch up with you. So it's possible that you have more than one opportunity for new love or to get a love relationship going over this next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, even though Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto, Venus is making a nice sextile to Mars. And this is about more like staying at home and doing projects side by side, and that would really help enhance your love relationship right now, your existing love relationship. That is where you work together to maybe beautify the house or on a family project or something, but that's your opportunity over this next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mercury that is actually stationary at this time. That means that things could feel a little bit stalled. The use of this, the reason for this is if you do start something on that stationary Mercury, it gets a great deal of focus in your life. So that is if you start anything, which some astrologers would say it's a little bit risky. I'm going to say it too. So, but if you say wait until like 16th or 17th to get something started, it could have so much energy and power that it really captures your attention and captures the attention of other people. So you might want to consider that if you are getting ready to start something. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, Mercury's not making an aspect to Jupiter. It will, though, and it's going to be a nice one. So it's outside this 2-week period. I think that this energy is going to be something that is going to line up better for you soon. So look for your payday to come maybe closer to the full moon or after that. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, Mercury's not making an aspect with Neptune, plus you've got Mars now really solidly in your house of work. So the situation is probably that if you ask for a raise, they're just going to hand you bigger projects and more responsibility. So you may want to just wait until this lines up better. Okay, Gemini, you're doing this new moon in Virgo in your house of home and family. And so that's where you want to really focus your attention and take things that are big tasks like renovating the house or unpacking or having a better relationship with family and bringing this down to the smallest possible step that you can take. So this would be like if you were thinking about putting in drapes, maybe the thing on your list today would be measure the window, or think about where you might look for different fabrics or different companies to install it. So taking the tiniest little step, or if this was about improving relationships with family members, you might isolate it down to one problem and then say, what is the smallest thing that I can do to change to help facilitate a change overall? So that could be something like, your teenager can't get the clothes in the hamper. Maybe you need a different style of hamper that is easier, or maybe the teenager needs to wear dirty clothes for a while. I don't know. So, but thinking about this at the very minute level, maybe even asking yourself, why is this bothering you so much? And maybe then it'll be easier to pick your battles. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a semi-sextile to Mercury. So you have an opportunity to meet someone new. Mercury is stationary at the time, and so things could move a little slow at the beginning. So you got to give yourself a little bit of time to get maybe the date happening. There may be a false start here or there. But over this 2 weeks, you have good energy for meeting someone new for a love relationship. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury's not making an aspect with Jupiter. However, Mercury is in your house of home and family. So there is some positive energy here. I think that this is more about just, being in harmony versus working on the relationship. I think this is more about, just doing your own thing and they're doing their own thing. And when you come together, it seems like it's going well because you have a very nice house of home and family right now. And Jupiter is in your 12th house of protection. So I think this looks pretty good, but there's just no aspect going on if you were looking to, move the relationship to the next level or to work out an issue. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that new moon that is looking for you to do the small details. Now, this is in your house of home and family, so there may be something going on with real estate or pooling money together with family members to do some investing, or perhaps you are expecting some, influx of cash from a family member to help your business. But there is something here where financially, thinking about family, thinking about real estate, thinking about working at home, all of those things could be very beneficial at this time. Now, when it comes to money derived from investments or from your business, the moon's not making an aspect to Saturn right now. And so the energy was lined up before. It is going to line up in the future. Right now, it looks like you're making about the same as usual. I think that the focus is supposed to be on those little tasks to get those cleaned up, and then you'll see bigger money down the road. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, and that would be like a paycheck, the moon is not making an aspect with Mars. However, the North Node is in that house. So this is a time to start thinking about your strategy for asking for more money. You may not do that so well right now over this 2-week period, but there are going to be little chunks of time going forward. And so that preparation of, how to ask, how to get all your accomplishments in order so that you can hit them with that, to do your negotiations, that's what you could be working on now with this Virgo new moon energy. Okay, Cancer, you guys are doing this new moon energy in your house of thinking process and communication. And so this is bringing communication down to the actual sentences that you're saying, the actual words you're using, as well as what you're thinking. And so being aware of the thoughts that are happening, maybe even counting up the positive versus the negative, maybe challenging the negative thoughts, maybe telling the negative thoughts, you know what, I'm not going to think that anymore. Or if it's a thought about worry, maybe you can schedule that and say, I'm going to worry about things from 8 to 9 next Thursday. So I'm going to put that on the list and I'll worry about it then. So, and this is about communication. So looking at how you communicate, negotiate, how you express yourself. So, and looking at the actual words that you're using. And if you've been trying to have a conversation with somebody and they don't seem to get it, maybe there is a word that you're using that they define differently. And so that's some of the use for this Virgo new moon in your house of communication. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's making a trine to Pluto. So you have some very good energy for meeting somebody new during this 2-week period. So this is a good time to get out, to set the date. Even if you're just meeting for coffee, sometimes that's all it takes to see that dinner would be a good idea, or that you should talk more, or things like that. So this is there's really good energy here for meeting somebody new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the moon's not making an aspect with Saturn, so everything's just moving along as usual. But because you're doing this new moon in your house of communication, this is your opportunity to really listen to what your partner is saying and see if there's some words that maybe trigger you or that cause you to think something differently, and sit down with your partner and ask for a definition, how they look at that word, how you look at that word, and see if you can find some more harmony that way. Because there's no aspect that, this is not something maybe that you can do during this 2-week period. Usually we need an aspect if you're going to work on the relationship. So this may be that you're just so busy and they're busy, and so you may just go through the 2 weeks and not do anything but just be together. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from the sun, which is making that really nice trine to Uranus. So the energy here is thinking differently and looking at how you can change what you're doing to make a difference. And sometimes that means just changing the wording in some of your marketing materials. Maybe this is, what time you post or how often you post. Maybe this is how you're communicating when you call a customer or client and say, it's time to pay your bill, or do you want to order our new product? So this is looking at those sort of things on that granular level. Now, when it comes to money derived from business or from your investments, things are looking very good. You have Venus in that house. The sun's making a trine to Uranus. You have a lot of opportunities here. The only thing that I would tell you is with a trine, it's really good energy, but it also can be a little lazy. And so you don't want to sleep through this aspect. That means while you have good energy, you want to run after something. You want to chase it. You want to work at it, because you have the extra luck. But if you don't, then the aspect passes you by. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, even though the sun's not making an aspect with Venus, the Venus rules that house and is in a money house. You have good money energy here. I think that because they're not lined up, it might take a few weeks or even months for you to see the actual raise, but this could be a good time because you're doing communication energy to bring this up and at least set the time and date for sitting down to talk about it. Okay, Leo, this new moon is in your house of money. And because it's Virgo, it means that we come down to the smallest thing possible. So in money, that would be the pennies. And that is to look at your finances down to the penny. Maybe that means for the next 2 weeks, you write down every penny that you spend. Or for the next couple of weeks, you really look at how much you are spending on, different apps and, investment advice, or, how much is your investment portfolio costing you? How much does it cost you to get to and from work? Things like that, those hidden costs, those sort of things is what that Virgo energy is for, and it can be enlightening. So when you do that, then you can make the changes that could actually put a lot more money in your pocket. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the sun is making a trine to Jupiter, which is great. So you have really good energy for meeting somebody new. Jupiter's elevated in the chart, so that makes you easy to find. You could find somebody that values you, that you value. So this is a really good time to set up a first date, or at least push things along so you can have a conversation, so you can get something started with this good energy. And then when it comes to existing love relationships, the sun's making a trine to Uranus. So you have, again, really good energy for, moving your existing love relationship to the next level, or working out some problems, or sitting down together and working on the finances. So together, you're more in harmony than usual. And so you want to spend time together and work on the bigger things, like your goals, but coming down again into the details, because this is Virgo energy. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mercury that for this chart is stationary. And that means that a lot of the things that you're doing, it feels like you really want to push forward. But maybe the reason you can't push forward is that there's still some details that you need to work out. Sometimes when we get something done and we want to launch it right away, but we haven't necessarily done all the marketing yet, or maybe we need to, do some additional tweaks to it, or make sure that the website works, and again, it's same with investments. You might feel the need to rush into an investment, but this stationary Mercury says slow down, do more research, see what's going on, because it says, it's not quite ready to run this race yet. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, even though Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune, they're both in money houses. So you do show good ability to make money during this time. I think you're just making a little bit more than usual. I think most of the bigger wins are coming later, because this energy will line up in the future. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, because Mercury is stationary, that means that your company could say, well, we're not doing raises right now, or you're going to get a raise at the end of the year, so this is, there's not enough time. There might be some excuses or reasons that they are holding back. So this is not really a time to try and push it forward with a stationary Mercury. Okay, Virgo, this is your new moon, which means that you are now beginning your lunar year. And that is that you're in your seed planting time. And the more seeds you plant, which would be represented by new things, and they don't have to be huge. They could even be, a new way to work, trying a new food, listening to some different music. But the more new things you do, the more seeds you plant, and the bigger, more gigantic your harvest will be in the future. So you want to especially meet new people, go to new places, just try something new, get out of your routine, which I know sometimes can be hard because being out of your routine is not as efficient, and you do thrive on that efficiency. But this is a time where you do have to do something new to get some new results. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury's making an opposition to Saturn, and they're all in money houses. So you have a really good time right now to meet someone new. Now, because that Mercury is stationary, it may not, like in the first couple of days of this new moon energy, you may find that things are stalled or not really working. It may be towards the end, as we get closer to the full moon, that this actually works. But the energy is still good. So even if you're just having conversations and you have to have your first date after this 2-week period, still it's worth, having the conversation, getting to know the person, or again, being in new circumstances where you could meet someone. And then when it comes to existing love relationships, even though Mercury's not making aspect to Neptune, you've got really strong money relationship energy. We'll get to money in a second. Relationship energy, because both Mercury and Neptune are in relationship houses. So that means you have opportunities to work on the relationship. But if you just want to sit back and, work on something, not the relationship, but work on something together, you have good energy for that. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Venus, which is now solidly in your 12th house, your hidden house, your spiritual house. So this is where you would do the more spiritual things to attract money. That means that you're talking about feng shui cures, or doing a meditation, affirmations, visualization, lighting incense or a candle, maybe using crystals. By the way, citrine is a good crystal for attracting money. And so doing something like that can help you kind of get your head in a place where you're starting to see the opportunities. Sometimes it is us ourselves that is blocking the money because we feel tired, we feel overworked, or we just want a break. And so this can help you spot that and open that door again. Now, when it comes to money drive from business or investments, Venus is making a lovely sextile to Mars. Mars is in a money house. You have really good energy. It is a sextile. With a sextile, it means there is an opportunity. It's probably a little bit outside your comfort zone. And so you're going to have to push yourself a little bit. But when you do, really good luck and great things can happen. But you just need to give yourself a little shove so that you will use this positive energy. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, the moon's not making an aspect with Venus. So there's a little bit of mixed energy here because the moon it's your moon. So therefore you're more visible, but the Venus is not visible. So it's likely that they're going to say, we think you're doing a lovely job. We think you're doing wonderful. Let's talk about your raise in 3 or 4 months. So it's likely you're going to get put off. And so you may just want to wait until this energy lines up better in the future. Okay, Libra, you are doing this Virgo new moon in your house of spirituality. And so this is a time to consider doing something like a daily spiritual practice, or if you have done it in the past, maybe starting it again or shifting it so that you feel, closer to what you're doing, that you feel that it's making a difference. And so daily spiritual practices could be as simple as, lighting a stick of incense, or, starting the morning, reading some sort of sacred text, maybe ending the day, talking to the universe, or, connecting with your higher self through using tarot cards or the pendulum or something like that. So doing something on a regular basis like that builds in strength and power. And so that's where this is something where maybe you want to look at it and say, how can I put this into my daily schedule? And what are the smaller things that I can do that allow me to have that reverence and, that spiritual connection to even just cooking dinner, or, cleaning something, or talking to someone. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, this Venus is not making an aspect with Uranus. But Venus is sitting in your house of friendships. So my thought is that if you could get out of the house, which is hard for you on the Virgo new moon because you are doing this more isolation, being alone, talking to the universe, and not so much out and about. But if you could do that, then a friendship could morph into a love relationship starting during this 2-week period. So that's where the energy is. But right now, I think that if you were actively looking for a love relationship, you could find someone for a one-night stand if that's what you're interested in. But for a real love relationship, I think you have to wait till outside this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the energy is quite good. Venus is making a lovely sextile to Mars. Mars is in your own sign. You are coming together, I think, more as friends, more as helping each other, and really feeling like you're respecting the relationship for each other, which I think is good. If there are things to work out, you have the sextile, there is the opportunity, and maybe there's a third party that you're bringing in because of the sextile, but the energy here is good for working things out. Now, when it comes to your money, you of course are pulling money from that Pluto that is at the base of your chart, that's still pulling in opportunities through real estate or your family, but you're also pulling money from Mars, which is in your own sign. And so this is that it rests with you. If there is some sort of block with your money right now, it's not external. This is something maybe about your confidence, or maybe you don't feel ready, or maybe you're tired. There's something that is holding you back that is causing you to say, I don't need this right now. It's feeling like you could open that door and allow the money to come in. And that's just a shift of mindset to say, universe, I'm ready. You can open this door. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto, but it is making that lovely sextile with Mars in your own sign. So this is, again, that opportunity, but it's just a sextile. Sextile is you have to step up and do the action. You have to maybe even step out of your comfort zone. And then when you do, luck happens, opportunity happens. So this is, you need to actively do something to make this work. And when you do, you could make more money than usual over the next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, your chart is very good. The sun is making a lovely trine to Pluto. Venus is in that house. Mars is making the sextile to Venus. I could go on and on. This is your time to plant the seeds, to ask for the raise. I don't think because you have the Virgo moon is the moon before yours, I think that means that you plant the seeds now, and in a month you're going to get the results. But your energy right now is very positive for this. So this is the time to at least set the date of when you're going to sit down with your supervisor and talk about it. Okay, Scorpio, you're doing this new moon energy in your house of community as well as friendships. This is also about thinking about the future. And so when it comes to friendships, of course, good things would be to, maybe put into your schedule to reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, or, see if somebody's having a birthday or something like that. But more importantly here, it is about looking at your bigger goals and breaking them down into those really granular steps, something that you could do in 10 minutes when you get home from work. That sort of energy really adds up. It can really make a big change in your life. And, sometimes we look for these big chunks of time and say, oh, if I only had time, I would learn to do this, or I could work on that. But our lives don't work that way anymore. And so this is about getting the smallest step you could possibly do, spending that 10 minutes on it. That will really add up. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Pluto's making a sextile to Neptune, as well as you have a very strong house of friendships. So turning a friendship into a love relationship is very possible right now. And so the new part would be they were just friend before, and now they are a lover. So this is also possible that a friend could introduce you to somebody, and that way they are a new love. So you have really good energy over the next 2 weeks for meeting a love relationship. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, you have some good energy because even though Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto, it's making a very nice sextile to Mars. Now, the Mars, being that it's in your hidden house, says that you're going to do better with your partner when you have some alone time. So that might mean sending the kids off to somewhere. Maybe they're in school, so who knows? Or, just taking yourselves out of the usual so that you can have some private time together. And that's going to help your love relationship. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Jupiter that is in your house of partnerships and collaborations. We've talked about that before, but it is going to get an inconjunct from Mars, which is your co-ruler. Now, that says that it's time to do something different. And that is to take a look at what you're working on right now and seeing how you can make some adjustments, especially if you're in some sort of negotiations and it's not going well. How can you shift the dynamic through some different negotiation techniques or by asking yourself, what else could this person be to me? If they can't be a business partner, maybe they could work for you as a contract employee, or maybe the contract employee should be a business partner, that sort of thing. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, there's no aspect going on between Mercury and Jupiter. And Mercury in this chart is not moving. It's just turning around. So it's moving, but it's moving as slow as possible. And so that means someone could be slow to pay you, that you may be, you might have to tell them several times. This might help you maybe change how you do your debt collection. But this energy is going to shift right now. It may feel a little bit frustrating. I think ultimately by the end of the 2 weeks, you'll make about the same as usual, maybe a little bit less because you are struggling to collect something or to gain something that was promised to you. But this energy will start to smooth out, especially as we get to the full moon. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so like a paycheck, again, even though Mercury's not making an aspect to Jupiter, Mercury's in that house, so is the new moon. You have very good energy for asking for a raise, negotiating something better if you're looking for a new job, getting a promotion, or at least some sort of recognition for the job you've been doing. So you have some good energy in this area. Okay, Sagittarius, you guys are doing this new moon at the top of your chart in your house of career and reputation. And that says that you want to take what it is that you'd like to do for a vocation and bring down those steps down to what you could do in 15 minutes a day. And that is because if you spent 15 minutes a day, in a year, you would have spent 90 hours on your new business or on your investment business or your passive income business. You would make a significant change in your life. And this is a time where you could get that started, where you could find, what's the thing that's going to take me 15 minutes that's going to move the needle the most. That's what you're looking for, how to get outside your comfort zone just a smidge so that your comfort zone grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mars is making an inconjunct to Jupiter, which means that you could meet someone for a love relationship who is not your type, not who you expected. They might be very interested in you, and yet you are thinking, I didn't want a long distance relationship, or some other thing is causing you to hesitate. But if you have been looking for love, maybe to consider at least having a first date and seeing what happens from there. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Jupiter's not making an aspect with Mercury, and Mercury's not moving very fast right now. And so there's a great deal of focus, on your career and on home and family, on daily routines, not so much in relationships. So it's possible that your relationship's just cruising along. It's harder to work on your relationship right now. So just kind of let it be until we get to some better aspects, which will be coming up pretty soon. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from Saturn that is right at the base of your chart. Saturn has been retrograde for a while. It's still got a ways to go. And so this is go back over the things that you do to make money and challenge those. Look at those and rethink those. Saturn does the best. And by the way, having Saturn connected to your money house is actually a good thing. It feels hard. But when you do the hard stuff, the rewards are extraordinary. So this is where you do have to push against this, or you have to climb the mountain, or you have to do the harder calculations. But when you do get rewarded. So this is your time to get a little bit better, a little bit more towards expertise or authority. That's what you're looking for. That's going to help you make money. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, even though the moon's not making an aspect with Saturn, the moon is in a career house, the Saturn's is strongly at the base of your chart, so you have really good energy. It's not connecting so much to actually give you the money but I think it can bring you the opportunities that will bring you a payday later when this all lines up. So think in terms of what you can do to get a contract moving forward or to get an agreement happening, because this could bring you the payday later. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, it's pretty much the same story. And even though Venus is not making an aspect with Saturn, you have very strong houses here for career, for money derived from career, for work. So this is a time to plant the seeds, because when you do, the payday will come when these planets line up, which they will. So this is a time where you could say, to your supervisor, in a month, let's have a meeting, or in 2 months, let's have a meeting about my, career trajectory, so that I can really focus my energy to give you what you want, so I get what I want. Okay, Capricorn, you're doing this new moon energy in your house of knowledge. This is wisdom, education, travel, as well as legal matters. But if we focus on knowledge, this is about taking something that you want to learn and bringing it down to the smallest thing you can learn today at this moment. A lot of things that we want to learn, like a language or how to code or something like that, they're big, big projects, and sometimes we don't know where to start. And so the thing to do is to focus on what would be the thing that you're most interested in at the moment. So if I was going to learn, say, French, I don't want to memorize the dictionary. I want to memorize the few phrases or vocabulary words that would get me a cup of coffee, or tell me where the restroom is, or those sort of things, because those are the things that I'd be interested in. Or let's say you wanted to learn to code. Well, from my own experience, when I did coding way, way, way back, so back when computers were new, so I wanted to learn how to code, and the thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to create a random number generator, because I wanted to send all of my colleagues a little question each day, and I wanted the computer to pick the question. And so all I focused on was how to make this little tiny game. And that got me to understand the basics of coding so that I could move forward on it. So it's that sort of thing. Like, what's the thing that you're interested in doing? And you build from there. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, you do still have Jupiter and Uranus, and you're going to have those in that house for a while. But right now, Venus is not making an aspect with Saturn. And the energy to me feels a little bit one-night standish, so if that's what you're looking for, something that's physical and very brief, that is very doable right now. But if you're looking for a long-term relationship, then you might want to wait outside this 2-week period to meet somebody new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, there's no aspect going on between the moon and Saturn. There's a great deal of focus, as I was saying before, in your house of travel. So I think that if the two of you go somewhere together, you could have a really marvelous time. But otherwise, I think that there is, it feels like you're both kind of busy and not really doing the work of the relationship, which you can't because there's no aspect. So this is better to just kind of focus on your own thing. They're focusing on their thing. You'll come together when these planets line up. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Saturn that is in your house of communication, as well as Uranus. Uranus is in your house of risk-taking, and it's making a lovely trine to that new moon. So this is an opportunity to start something new. And maybe you're signing a contract about this. Maybe, you're getting the agreement, or like a handshake is happening, but something is helping you move forward. And with Uranus, it can feel outside your comfort zone, but with that new moon in Virgo, it has that energy of everything is spelled out. Every little step is there. And so you just go over the steps and you'll be good. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, you're doing quite well. The sun is making a lovely trine to that Uranus that we just mentioned, and it shows that there is growth opportunities. Venus is there for taking profits. I think you could have quite a prosperous 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, you also have some really good energy. Uranus is making a trine to that Pluto, and they are both making a wide trine to the new moon. So you have a grand trine happening. This is probably one of your best opportunities to ask for more money in your job, or especially perks. And that would be education perks or travel perks or equipment or things like that. These, you have some great energy for asking for more from your regular job. Okay, Aquarius, you guys are doing this new moon in your house of power, control, also resources. And we talk about that aspect of this house a lot. And this is where we want to take these bigger concepts of like how to create passive income sources or how to create a business and bring these down to something you could do in 10 or 15 minutes a day. That is what that Virgo energy is about. So you might, maybe you want to invest, but you've never purchased a security before. So maybe your first question is, how do you buy a share of stock? How do you find a good broker? How do you get started? Maybe you're interested in affiliate marketing. And so therefore you're starting to find little 15-minute videos on how to do this. And you sit there with a pad of paper, write down notes, or you could put the notes on your phone. So the thing here is to take the information and actually utilize it to focus just for that 15 minutes, because over the course of a year, 15 minutes a day would be 90 hours that you spent on it. In 90 hours, you could do something extraordinary. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is not making an aspect to Uranus. And the interesting thing is, because Mercury is just now moving forward, it seems to be a little bit stuck. It's moving super, super slow. And so that means that if you're trying to connect with somebody, you're going to find that you can't even see them until outside the 2 weeks. Maybe they're traveling or you're traveling. Something is in the way. Just allow that to be in the way, because this energy is not lining up for you. Just wait until it does, and then things will go better. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, it's a whole different story, because the sun's making a lovely trine to Uranus, and Uranus is at the base of your chart in your area of home and family. So you have great energy for working out issues, also just coming together and really enjoying each other. You've got some things going on in the house of intimacy. So you could, send the kids away and have the house to yourselves. So there's some really good energy for your existing love relationship. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Neptune, which is in your house of money, that Jupiter also, and you've got Saturn in that money house, and everybody's retrograde, which means that it is necessary to go back over things that you've done before to see if there's a better way to do it, or what you learned, or how you could do better on the timing. This is a time to not so much look for something new, but to do old things in a new way. So that's the thing to be focused on when it comes to your money. Now, when it comes to money derived from business or from investments, even though Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune, the houses are full. I mean, they are chock full of opportunities here. You've got the new moon happening there. Mercury's happening there. You've got a couple planets in your house of money. So this is very strong energy right now for making more money than usual. I think that the promise of the money is coming in. I think the actual cash might not hit your account until after this 2-week period, but still, this is a time to push, because that new moon energy there could mean new clients, new investments, new sources of money. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, Jupiter's not making an aspect with Neptune. Neptune is still in a money house. You do have Saturn there. That does mean that maybe it's more of an effort for you to do this. Maybe you don't want to do this, and that's the hurdle that you have to get past. But the energy, there is money energy there, just like we were talking about, seconds ago about having your own business. So the money energy is there, but there's a little bit of a hurdle that you have to get past. Maybe you need to practice with a friend on asking for the raise, or look up some videos and practice different, techniques or scenarios or things like that. But there is some positive energy here for getting more money from your job. Okay, Pisces, you guys are doing this new moon energy in your house of relationships, and that also includes partnerships, collaborations, all the people you meet. So you have opportunities to meet a lot of new people during this time. The thing that's important with this Virgo new moon energy is to look at basically the minor things that happen in the relationship and look to make some adjustments there. And so that might be something as simple as you would like your partner to call you often. And they say, I'm great with that. But when you say often, you mean twice a day. And when they say often, they mean 3 times a week. So it would be defining those terms. What is often? And if they are different like that, where can we compromise? So this could also mean that the little steps that it takes to meet somebody new, maybe you don't really like doing, so maybe you need to adjust those, or maybe you need to do them on the most, like granular level possible, which is find a great coffee shop that's outside your normal, neighborhood where you could meet someone new. Go see the coffee shop first. Go see if there are nice seats and if they have good coffee. Then you can set up the date, that sort of thing. Or what are you going to wear on your first date? Thinking of those sort of things, getting those little details out of the way so that then it's smooth sailing when you do meet someone. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, you're doing very strong relationship energy. As I was hinting before, the moon's making an opposition to Neptune, and that means that there is this connection that can happen. So you want to put yourself into places where you could meet new people, conventions, conferences, large groups of people where, people actually do meet each other, or going to groups and that sort of thing where maybe it's smaller, but you still get to meet people. So that's the thing to do to meet somebody new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, even though Mercury's not making an aspect to Neptune, the energy here is still so good because that new moon is happening there. Mercury is moving really, really slow right now because it's just going direct the day after this new moon. So you're going to have to be a little bit patient if you want to move the relationship forward or you want to talk to them about something. You're going to need to do it closer to the full moon, but you can still do it within this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mars, which is in your house of passive income, also business income, investments in general. So this is a really good time to actively be the investor or to actively work on your business. This is a time where you want to really write down the steps and say, what do I need to do next? See if you can spend some extra time on your business because you have this positive energy right now. Mars is going to be in this house for a couple of weeks, but then after that, you're going to have to wait 2 years before it's back. Now, when it comes to money derived from business or from investments, you're doing some very good energy. Mars is making a sextile to Venus. Venus is in your house of daily routines and work. So that means that you can identify what needs to be done and do it, and profits can come in. This is a sextile. A sextile is only activated when you do something. Otherwise, the opportunity is missed. So make sure that you focus on this and take the action, and that way you can receive the treasure. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, Mars is not making an aspect with Saturn, but Saturn is in your own sign of Pisces right now. So that energy belongs to you right now. So that means that if you wanted to move something forward, you might be able to. I think with this energy, it would be easier, though, to get a perk, to get some sort of benefit. That might mean better equipment. It might mean a better schedule or to work on a different project. I would focus on that until these two line up, and they will be lining up pretty soon. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about astrology, especially astrology in general, put them in the comments and I may do a video on it. I will see you in the next video.